FBI is investigating these mysterious drone sightings in Morris County. Residents say they've been appearing more frequently in recent weeks, and tonight many people want to know exactly where they're coming from.
All right, everyone, welcome back. December 4th, 2024, we have to discuss what's going on in the skies of New Jersey. This insane UFO/drone phenomena taking place is absolutely incredible, and you are not going to believe what I found going on with the military at the exact same time going into New Jersey. I will break this all down for you because it is insane. All right, and to be clear, we've been having sightings all over the world over the last couple weeks. Multiple sightings over major airports. This one here in Manchester. This orb made it into the news very quickly when it was hovering over an airport. Many thought it was a drone. It has not been disproven yet, but a very weird video nonetheless. We also had this very strange video of what looks like 6, maybe 7 orbs all grouped together with a smaller orb up above them, almost like it's controlling it. We couldn't verify exactly what this was, but we could see airplanes crossing the threshold of this video. You'll see one very soon coming in from the left, and it's right about now. I want to say there it is. You can see it on the bottom left. There is an airplane coming into the airport while we're seeing these orbs in the sky above it. Very, very strange. All right, and now I want to talk about this video that came out in New Jersey 2 nights ago, and what I believe is happening here is a little bit of confusion. People are going nuts with their phones pointed to the sky because of this phenomena taking place, and a lot of people, I believe, are confusing UFOs with planes. This looks like a clear-cut airplane to me, but it seems to have made it onto all different media stations. But what's interesting is the second part of this video. They show these girls talking about this airplane right here, calling it a drone or some sort of UFO, which it's clearly not. But this part of the video is more interesting, and then I'm going to get into the military part of what I discovered here. Now, in this part of the video, you can see she's counting out the different drones in the sky. Here, back in this area. She counts about 7 of these, I want to say. So this is much different than the airplane video she was showing us. This is what people are looking for. Now, with that said, you are not going to believe this. At the same exact time as these sightings last night, a massive escort military operation took place. 3 major military aircraft went out from New Jersey into the Atlantic Ocean. 45 minutes later, they return with a private jet that then peels off right after they get out of international waters and into New Jersey. This private jet peels off and goes right to Washington, D.C. Clearly, this jet was coming from another country across the Atlantic Ocean, and the military went out to pick it up. Now, because these craft came out of New Jersey to meet this private jet, whoever this was clearly a very important person or a very important craft. So my friends, as you can see, these airplanes, once this private jet peels off, this Boeing Globemaster and other military craft continue to circle a large portion of New Jersey for a few hours. Most of the videos you see from last night are within this time period. So what is going on out there? I personally do not believe these are aliens coming from outer space. I think that we have this technology right here on Earth, and it's just hidden from us. These may be some secret military ops going on. They could be surveilling parts of New Jersey for some reason. That we do not know yet, but something very strange is going on here.
What's happening, YouTube? He hit the nail right on the head. Something strange is going on here in the United States and across the whole world. We're seeing drone sightings all over the place. Now, this is an update to last week's video that I did on drones. We've had a pretty eventful weekend with a lot more sightings over a lot more territory than previously was happening in the past there. So over the past couple of weeks. So definitely want to look into this and see a little more what's going on. So let's dig into what we got going on. All right, from the Daily Wire. Mayorkas claims Americans have nothing to worry about over drone sightings. Now, do you believe that? I definitely don't believe it, especially from a guy who says that the border there's no problems at the border, that everything was okay. So let's get into what the news has to say. Embattled Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, who became only the second cabinet official in U.S. history to ever be impeached over his disastrous handling of the border crisis, claimed during an interview over the weekend that Americans had nothing to worry about when it came to recent reports of drone flight at night. Mayorkas made the comments during a Sunday interview on ABC News this week with George Stephanopoulos when asked about recent drone sightings at night on the East Coast and particularly New Jersey. There's no question that people are seeing drones, he said, and I want to ensure the American public that we are in the federal government have deployed additional resources, personnel, and technology to assist the New Jersey State Police in addressing the drone sightings. Some of those drone sightings are, in fact, drones, he added. Some are manned aircraft that are commonly mistaken for drones, and we do see duplicative reporting, but there's no question that drones are being sighted. He said that part of the reason that this is happening is because the Federal Aviation Administration changed rules around flying drones late last year, allowing them to be flown at night. What do you guys think? Do you think that this is what's going on? Maybe a conspiracy to change the laws, drone laws? There's a lot of different conspiracies going on out there these days, and a lot of them make sense. Some of them make some really good sense, and some of them, obviously on the border. But there's a lot of different explanations. But the one thing we do know is we're not getting a straight explanation from our own government. That's what's leading to all the panic. That's what's leading all to the rumors that's going on. Until we hear anything, we're going to be out here trying to figure out what these drones are. Some theories are that there may be some radioactive material that is being looked for, sniffed out. So there's a CEO of a drone corporation that recently came out over the weekend and gave his theory on what's going on. So let's check that out real quick. Mystery drones could be trying to find radioactive material, aerospace CEO. The recent epidemic of reported drone sightings across New York and New Jersey could be due to potential gas leaks or radioactive material, one subject matter expert said. Reports of mysterious drone sightings in multiple states have drawn widespread attention from lawmakers and members of the public in recent weeks. John Ferguson, the CEO of Saxon Aerospace, a drone manufacturer in Kansas, weighed in on the topic in a TikTok post that has gone viral. The FBI has said it received more than 3,000 tips regarding drone sightings, with the majority of these reported observations happening at night. In his 9-minute video, Ferguson offered an assessment of the drone, saying the only reason an unmanned aircraft would be flown at night was if the operator was looking for something. My own guess is that these drones are not nefarious in intent. If they are, they are, but I doubt it. But if they are drones, the only reason they would be flying and flying that low is because they are trying to smell something on the ground, Ferguson said. He added that the drones could be searching for gas leaks or pockets of radiation. He also added he believed the drones were seeking something very important. In a series of follow-up videos, Ferguson said many of the drones appeared to be compliant with federal regulations and reiterated his theory. The absence of concrete answers as to the origins of the unmanned aerial vehicles has prompted some lawmakers to accuse government agencies of concealing information, and the vacuum has led to the propagation of theories as to what the sightings could mean. One of the more outlandish explanations is the Project Bluebeam conspiracy theory, which claims that global elites plan to stage a fake alien invasion. The theory proposed by Canadian journalist Serge Monast in the 1990s alleges that this covert operation would establish a totalitarian government by faking otherworldly or supernatural events using advanced technology. In the wake of the drone sightings, the conspiracy theory has seen a revival online, with influential social media accounts posting about it and garnering millions of views. On Sunday, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas suggested that a Federal Aviation Administration rule change in September 2023 could be a reason behind the uptick in drone sightings. In September of 2023, the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, changed the rules so that the drones could fly at night, the Biden administration official told ABC News this week. Mayorkas continued, and that may be one of the reasons why now people are seeing more drones than they did before, especially from dawn to dusk. Well, Alejandro, that would make sense if maybe they started doing that last year when the laws passed, not just over the past couple of weeks. It's a little suspicious that it's happening over the past couple of weeks, and then you want to blame that on a law that had passed late last year, you said. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't add up. It doesn't line up. Now, I have come across some other crazy conspiracy theories and crazy theories, but this weekend, the drones seem to have gotten a little bit farther past the states that we've seen them in, which would be New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts. There's been some sightings in Boston. I believe the police arrested 2 people yesterday who were flying some drones that they caught off a small island off of Boston. So there's definitely some people getting looked at, and that's a good thing. But there's also been reports of sightings here in Ohio. I'm based out here in Akron, Cleveland area, but this was at a military base here in Ohio. Let's read what it has to say from MSN. Drone sightings lead to airspace shutdown at Ohio military base, arrest near Boston airport. Boston AP, more suspected drone sightings in the eastern U.S. led to a temporary airspace shutdown at an Air Force base in Ohio. Arrest near Boston's Logan International Airport as elected officials increased their push for action to identify and stop the mysterious unmanned flights. Drones flying around Wright-Patterson Air Force Base near Dayton, Ohio, forced base officials to close the air base for about 4 hours late Friday into early Saturday, said Robert Pertman, a base spokesman. It is the first time drones have been reported at the base, one of the largest in the world, and no sightings have been reported since early Saturday. He would not say how many drones were flying in the area, adding that they ranged in size and that they did not impact any base facility. In Boston, city police arrested 2 men accused of operating a drone dangerously close to Logan Airport on Saturday night. Authorities said an officer using drone monitoring technology detected the aircraft and the location of the operators. A third man who fled police remains at large. Authorities said that 2 men were facing trespassing charges and could face more charges and fines. So again, that doesn't really line up with the narrative that Mayorkas is saying about the drone laws. It's just funny how everybody, is there a drone blog out there that we don't know about? A drone Reddit, a drone Discord page where everybody said on November 30th of 2024, we're all going to fly our drones at night, every night for 30 days. I mean, if that's the case, somebody post that and let us know in the comments below. But I doubt very seriously we're going to find anything like that because just doesn't make any sense. Some of these drones are really big. Some of these are way outside of the purchasing power, let's say, of many of us out here. We can afford to buy small drones from Best Buy and Amazon and places like that. But some of these bigger, larger drones that are the size of small cars, small SUVs, some of these are actual F-16 looking airplanes, 747 drones. They're big. They look like real planes. They look like real F-16s. If they're far enough away from you, you would think that that's an actual plane in the sky. But when they actually landed, you'd see that they're maybe only 6 feet, 7 feet, 8 feet long, which is still rather huge for a drone. Those run in the thousands of dollars, and not everybody is able to afford something like that or able to have the permission to fly those drones. Now, the other thing that doesn't line up is the fact that these are being seen over Air Force bases and military bases around the country. So I'm sure there are plenty of laws that prevent drones from being allowed to be around military bases. So again, it doesn't line up with the narrative that Mayorkas is putting out there. Now, I came across another video the other day by the name of Cliff High, computer scientist and linguist, spoke in a YouTube video about his model's prediction known as the 39 days to melee. That said, a battle between humans and aliens in the sky would occur 39 days after a triggering incident. The incident, what High calls the temporal marker, was podcaster Joe Rogan's interview with President-elect Donald Trump on October 25th. High said, "So we're going to have some kind of weird confrontation, visible contention, which we could probably call in term combat in the skies that will show up, and it will show up at a predictable point, which is probably something over a month. And we'll put down 30 days or 39 days, something over a month after the temporal marker of Trump and Rogan. And that's just the beginning of all of this, right?" High's model predicts that there will be 39 days between the temporal marker of Trump's interview and the appearance of this visual contention, which he said would eventually lead to melee. In this instance, the visual contention would be the space aliens or alien reproduction vehicles. The descriptors his model tracked in 2009 indicated that the visible contention would be UFOs fighting other UFOs or UFOs fighting jets. High predicted that on December 3rd, visible contention between humans and aliens would begin, eventually ending in melee after an unspecified period. His prediction model, the WebBot, is a computer program that allows individuals future events by tracking keywords on the internet. It monitors internet chatter, including articles, blogs, forums, and more, according to The Telegraph. I created the computer program in 1997 with his partner, George Urey, but said he developed his theory regarding a war between humans and aliens in 2009. The prediction has since gone viral on YouTube and X, formerly Twitter, with many voicing their thoughts on this theory and anticipation of a war in the skies. Now, this is crazy because if we look at the time frame, the Rogan Trump interview is, I think, October 25th. If you go 39 days from that, we're talking around Thanksgiving, close to December 3rd date. And that's really close to the date that all these drones sightings have started taking place. So, mind you, and he put this video out, and here's the video, 39 Days to Melee, Trump, Rogan, Temporal Marker, Episode 2. He put this out October 17th of 2024. So the drone activity hasn't started happening yet, guys. October 27th or October 17th, 2024. So let's take a listen to what he has to say. He rambles a lot, so I'll skip through that, but let's check it out.
Kind of stuff. No, guys, no, nobody out there. Anyway, okay, so we're going to have these, some kind of weird confrontation, visible contention, which we could probably call in term combat, in the skies that will show up, and it'll show up at a predictable point, which is probably something over a month, and we'll put down 30 days, or 39 days, something over a month after the temporal marker of Trump and Rogan. And that's just the beginning of all of this, right? So in my understanding of what we were looking at back in 2009, and I can't refresh because again we weren't able to keep any of that data. We ended up with a situation where, in my opinion, melee may be a couple of months past the visible contention point. The visible contention will go on, not continuously necessarily, maybe intermittently, and maybe sporadically in terms of where it's located. And then it will degenerate in one of these combat episodes or combat encounters into a melee. And in this sense, we may also find that at that period of time, just coincidentally, we got political chaos, and because we may be talking January, and we may end up with a melee itself on the ground, as above, so below kind of thing, right? But the melee in the skies was what was being forecast in 2009. Again, this is all part of a large set that was dominated by this temporal marker as the iconic threshold that you step up into to get into sci-fi world. And so we'll be having our entrance into sci-fi world here. Okay, so, all right, so that's our basic subject number one, right? That maybe the melee, in my opinion, it would be fitting with data I have now if that melee actually starts showing up in January 15th through February 15th, in that period of time, because there's going to be all kinds of chaotic activity in that period of time anyway.
The inauguration.
And the data sets in 2009, both Igor and myself were saying, well, it's odd that we didn't find a lot of references about crowds and their reaction. Okay, and it may be that you can't be in a crowd on the street in that period of time and be looking at the sky because there's a melee right around you, and you got to keep your eyes focused just to stay alive. We don't know what the conditions are going to be, but we didn't find a lot of confirmatory extra set descriptors that would define an environment that would place it into a big, nice, complete picture for us. We had a lot of good stuff, the temporal marker, all that kind of stuff showing up very firm and so on. But the melee part, we didn't have, it was squishier, okay? So, all right, so now that aside, the entrance into sci-fi world, how do we want to, okay, so let me stop for a second and say, we have a bunch of people out in the alternative media, which is now pretty much evolving into the mainstream media, that in my opinion are a little bit slow mentally, right? And these guys don't quite grasp what's going on, so they're using words inappropriately. Because this war is not like all of these wars. So it's not all troops in an organized fashion versus other troops in an organized fashion. It's all ephemeral. And it's all thought and paradigm and words sweeping through the population and dominating against other dynamic paradigms. Not against people with bullets, but still in a sense against a general that's directing all of this shit. And in this sense, people like Charlie Ward and all these decode guys that are saying, oh, it's just a movie, and Charlie Ward says it's a pantomime, a play. Such that this understanding converts that complicated understanding of our three-dimensional space into a complexity is also tied in to all of this shit here, okay? So, I'm making some assumptions, and I'm making some assumptions relative to what I've read about what these people did and what they went through, and the fact that this has a particular language history, and all of this stuff coming up relative to the TM and the melee with the UFOs, right? And I'm relating all those together, and coming up to this forecast that goes way back into the 2009, also was reaffirmed in 2019, and was actually, we were able to, I think it was probably 2017, and we were able to apply a descriptor to it that made some sense, okay? So along with the melee and all this other stuff going on, the visible contention, and then whatever the hell is happening here on the planet, somewhere on Earth, a human or a group of humans, or maybe it's already been done and we'll find out about it in that period of time, they're going to discover this like intergalactic interweb, okay? So in other words, they will discover that there's communications going on constantly around us, and to a certain extent what we think of as Akashic records may be a concept that could be applied to vast galactic civilizations talking to themselves and to each other and putting data out in a particular space that is, in my opinion, I think it's transiting through hyperspace. I think that comes into it. But anyway, we'll discover this level of communications. And I'm of the opinion, I've got a couple of quick opinions that are going to annoy people, but I'm of the opinion that our discovery of that confirms to us why we annoy the UFOs, okay? Because the entire intergalactic interweb kind of, so I think we're disruptive at that level, not merely disrupting their navigation systems and so on. I think it's much broader than that, much bigger than that.
Okay, so you can see that some of these theories can get pretty wild, pretty crazy. So, he has the the software program that predicted 39 days after a temporal marker, which was the Joe Rogan interview with Donald Trump, that we would start seeing some kind of activities in the sky, and that's going to lead up to a melee somewhere in the January to February time period, which seems to be lining up with what he's saying. Now, some of the other stuff he says can kind of be out there. I get where he's going with the languages and how this all plays out, because words are very important, and the meanings of words are very important. And once we start misrepresenting words and the meanings of words, and getting confused of those meanings and representations, then it becomes very hard to project what it is that you're trying to say in a way that people will hear it if they are already in belief that certain words have certain meanings. So I get where he's coming, where the languages have, the meanings of words have changed throughout the time period based upon the translations of languages. But he does bring up something very, I don't know how to say it, very interesting here at the end, where he talks about the hyper internet, or this bigger internet that has been discovered. Supposedly, that his theory is that there's this bigger internet outside of what we use, has been discovered, possibly an intergalactic internet used by other entities, other races, other um, galaxies, other planets, other beings. And it would make sense that we would have this kind of intergalactic internet, to be able to communicate back and forth with people, back and forth with other intelligences, and have a way of using that as a way of monitoring the development of certain species and that. So it's kind of an interesting theory that he has. And the reason I think it's an interesting theory is because we all hear of the dark web, the black web, the dark web. It's this forbidden space that we're not allowed to go on. But who's to say that this dark web doesn't contain this intergalactic web, isn't part of the intergalactic web already? And they knew that. That's why we are subjected to being contained to the World Wide Web, the WWW. Now, if you've ever gone outside of the WWW, you realize that this is just an island within the internet. And they just call the rest of the space out around this island that we inhabit, the WWW, the World Wide Web, is the darknet. That's what they've termed it. They make it sound like it's a bad place, so they don't want you to go there. But there's probably reasons why they don't want you to go there, because obviously it's more open to communicate without them monitoring you, obviously. And I think that's the biggest reason why we have the WWW, so that they can continue to monitor us and be able to track us and be able to do the things that they need to do on their end in order to maintain their level of security on their end. We'll just put it that way. So a lot of interesting theories going on out there. A lot of crazy UFO sightings that are being reported and being seen and documented across the internet, TikTok, YouTube, X, all over the place. So if you're one of those people out there who live in New Jersey, Maryland, New York, Boston, Virginia, Ohio, anywhere, Oregon, where these places, these sightings have been seen, and you're a subscriber of our channel, please share that information with us in the comments, and we'll try to share that with all the viewers as well. Also, don't forget to like our page. It really helps get pushed out over the internet, over YouTube channels, so that people can see our channel and see what we're doing out here. So the more people who like it and share it, the better. We really appreciate it. So be sure to like, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already done so. We really appreciate that. And until next time, we got lots more news coming for you. So until next time, peace.